Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Connect with Eleanor. Today we are talking about childhood trauma and relationships. But before I get right into the topic, kindly like, share, subscribe to my channel, encourage me. Thank you guys. I know you have done that, so I'm already encouraged. Childhood trauma. Childhood trauma is something that I believe affects our relationship with others, because our parents are the first set of people that we see. They are the first set of concepts that we have about relationship. So the way our childhood was, the way our environment was growing up, affects the way we think, affects our environment, affects how we interpret things. So I'm going to be giving us an in-depth explanation of what childhood trauma is, the signs of childhood trauma, then how it affects your relationship, then the solutions to it. So kindly follow me on this wonderful and exciting journey. So I wrote something down here that I want to share with every single one of us. It says here that childhood trauma refers to any experience that causes significant emotional distress or harm to a child, whether physical, emotional, sexual abuse, neglect, witnessing violence, death of a loved one, or natural disaster. There are many of us that it's not like we were physically abused or we were even verbally abused. There are many of us that we saw when our dads were beating our mom. Those things affect the brain of a child, and it also affects the child when the child grows up. Another thing here is that it says here that childhood trauma has the power to shape the way we interact with people. There are some people that because they've had childhood trauma, they find it very difficult to open up to people. They are very secretive. They're always getting suspicious that, hey, if I tell this girl something, this girl will not go and use it against me. Because that's the kind of childhood they had. It was like a war zone when they were growing up. They were not at peace. So those things are part of the things that affect a child, and then how they interact with others when they get to that level of being an adult. Now, another thing is that it says here that childhood trauma affects a person's ability to trust and communicate and connect with others. There are people that they find it so hard to connect with others. They tell themselves that, no, I'm a shy person, but in actual fact, they don't even know how to communicate with others. All those things, little things that I'm mentioning, are things that are as a result of childhood trauma. So now I'm going to be giving us the signs of childhood trauma in depth so that we can know if we've actually had one. I myself have also been a victim of childhood trauma. So it's not something to be ashamed of, but it's something that you can actually work on along the line. So the first sign of someone having a childhood trauma is fear of abandonment. These people that are victims of childhood trauma, they have that fear of abandonment. They don't want their partners to leave them. They feel incomplete when they are alone. Therefore, they seek to control their partners, or they seek to manipulate their partners, or they will rather be the opposite. Just be the yes, 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 agree to everything their partner says, because they don't want their partner to abandon them. Because they are used to that, probably growing up. Maybe their father left their mother due to one of the issues that happened between them. So they see it as, probably if I give my best to this person, if I don't complain, if I'm obedient girlfriend, if I'm obedient boyfriend, then probably this person will not leave me. But one thing I've realized is that whether you like it or not, no matter how much you try to please people, the ones that will stay in your life will stay in your life, and the ones that will leave will leave. So those kind of people that have had childhood trauma, they have that fear of abandonment. They feel like, I don't want to do anything that will harm this person, because this person might leave me alone, I might end up alone. So that fear is there. Then another thing is that avoidance of vulnerability. These people cannot open up to people, and they are not vulnerable. They are very hard-hearted. Take for example, someone like me. I'm someone that, as much as I laugh with others, I play with others, I mingle with others, you cannot really know the depth of what is inside me, because I'm not someone that will say I want to be vulnerable with another person, because vulnerability to me is the sign of weakness. Now, if you see something like that, you will know that is a sign of childhood trauma, because you don't trust the other person to actually open up and say, okay, this is what I'm going through. You understand? Although I've been working on it, and it's now better now, because I feel like at least I've been opening up to people nowadays, people that I trust, not people that they've not earned my trust. You get what I'm trying to say? So I believe this process is step by step. But people that have childhood trauma, they don't know how to be vulnerable. I mean, if their partner is trying to share something with them that, okay, oh, this is what is going on, or even their friends are trying to share something with them that, girl, this is what happened, everybody is trying to share that sad story, this person will just keep quiet and say, yeah, yes, we've all been through it. They won't really tell you the depth of what they have gone through due to that childhood trauma, because they have that fear that what if I'm open and honest with this person and this person uses that my vulnerability against me. Then another thing is that these people, they have difficulty in setting healthy boundaries. They don't know how to say no to somebody when someone asks them. They are people pleasers. That's the truth. I used to think that, okay, before I used to think that maybe people pleasing is something like, okay, that happens for people that maybe they want people to like them. But even that knowledge of the fact that you want people to always like you is as a result of a childhood trauma, because you feel like maybe if you had been an obedient child, maybe something wouldn't have happened to your mom or to your dad. So you felt like you have to be living your whole life trying to please others. So people that have had childhood trauma, they don't know how to build healthy boundaries at all. If their partner asks them to do anything that is against their will, they will go ahead with it because they don't want to lose the person, because it reminds them of the things that happened back then when they were growing up. So they chose to just go ahead with the relationship or the friendship, even despite the fact that the person is good, because there are some people that they have friends that they just talk to them anyhow, they don't have respect for them, but they keep coping with that friend because they feel like, I don't want her to leave me, will I have another friend, something like that. Another sign of childhood trauma is that excessive need for validation. They always want people to say you are doing well, you are doing good. They always want people to encourage them. Those kind of people, they've had childhood trauma because they always need that validation from others. And the truth is, if you keep working and doing things in life, looking for the validation of others, there are plenty of things that you do in this life that nobody will say thank you. Nobody will even encourage you. You are the one that will encourage yourself in the Lord. So if you are waiting for people to say, wow, you are doing well, you are doing good, my dear, you might never see. You might see in some aspect of your life, but there are some, especially when you are starting small or you are doing a business or something like that, don't expect everybody to celebrate you or see you as one celebrity. The Bible says that people come to the brightness of your rising. So in that process where you are being made up into the image of God, when you are being made up, when you are being transformed, you don't expect everybody to see that potential in you. So if you now keep pushing yourself to live a fake life, to do all these things because you are seeking for validation, you are setting yourself for a life of regret and something else entirely. Then another thing is that this kind of people, they have unstable behavior. They are always moody. They can be happy 1 minute, then they'll be sad the next minute. So they are not people that you can say they have a very stable behavior. Another thing is that they always have constant self-doubt and criticism. Can I do this thing? I'm not sure I'm capable of doing it. Probably because growing up, they've had teachers that will tell them that you can never know anything, or their mothers have always said verbal things to them that are not true, that you cannot achieve anything. What do you know? So those words that they've said to them in their childhood keep ringing in their ears when they are now adults. So they won't be able to really believe in themselves to achieve something. So anytime they have a project ahead of them or they have a business plan that they want to do, that self-doubt and criticism will come that I'm not worthy enough to do something like this. Those kind of people, if God eventually blesses them with something, they'll feel like they are not worthy of it because of the words that people have said to them over time. Then another thing is that these people, they have repressed and forgotten memories. These people, because of the trauma that they've had, they forget things a lot. Because of the pain that they went through in their childhood, it makes them, there is a way their brain just decides to forget that aspect of their lives. That if you even ask them that what happened in your childhood, how did you grow up, they might not be able to give you details of what exactly happened, because that's the memory is just too painful for them to actually remember. So the only way that their brain can actually protect them is for them to forget those memories. So those are the signs of people that have had childhood trauma. So now I'm going to be telling us how childhood trauma affects our relationship with others, whether in a romantic relationship or in a friendship with other people, or in the way we interact with people in our workplace. So stay with me. So now we are talking about the impact that childhood trauma has on relationships. Number one, trust issues. People that are victims of childhood trauma, they find it very difficult to trust people. I mean, if you just greet them good morning, they'll be looking at you as if there is something that you have as if you have hidden agenda for greeting them good morning. I have a friend like that if you probably you guys are just passing beside me and you're just saying something. I mean, this guy will be telling you that the way you laughed, probably you are talking about me. These people, they always have that extreme suspicion. They find it so difficult to trust other people. So if you see someone that is behaving like that they have a lot of trust issues, then number one, you know that their childhood trauma is actually affecting them. Now, another thing is that those kind of people, they seek control. They are mostly narcissists. When they are in a relationship, if it is a guy, when they are in a relationship with a lady, they want to be controlling everything she does. She won't have freedom to do anything. No, this is what I want you to do. This is my plan for you. This is everything for you. That is how those kind of people are. They feel like if they lose control, they lose their worth, they lose their value. So because of that, they seek to control and dominate their partners. And again, as a lady, if it is a lady that thing affects, she will seek to want to control everything that her husband does. She wants to know how much is in his bank account. She wants to know every little detail of his life, even things that are not even that significant. So those kind of people that have been victims of childhood trauma, it affects them. In their relationship, they always want to be the one in control. They don't know how to say, okay, let me just step back a minute. Always try to seek control and say, yes, I'm in charge, I'm in charge. Once you're already hearing that statement that I'm in charge of this house, I'm in this. Because one thing I believe is that you being in charge and you being in control, you don't have to command respect. That respect will come naturally. So another thing is that these people, they have difficulty showing affection. They're not really huggers. You know, that kind of thing. You know, there are some people that if you hug them, they say, yeah, they don't hug me, Jerry. They'll say, I'm not someone that used to hug, or I don't do hugs, that kind of thing. You don't do hugs, really. The truth of the matter is that childhood trauma also affects it. This kind of people, they don't like affection. They don't like hugs. They don't like cuddling. You know, those kind of things. There's some people like that. So because of what they have gone through growing up, they've seen a lot of things that has happened. They've not really seen their mom and their dad probably hug each other. So they feel like affection is not something that is needed. It has already been programmed in their brain that they don't need affection, they don't need to show affection. The fact that I love you doesn't mean that I should not be hugging you up and down, we should be holding each other's hands. It's not important, you know, that kind of thing. Another thing is that this kind of people, they have difficulty in communicating their emotions. I say they have communication difficulty. They don't know how to tell their partners, okay, this is what you did wrong. This is what I'm going through. I don't like the way you did it, the way you did that. These people, they will just prefer to keep silent because they don't know how to exactly articulate their needs and their emotions. So that's another problem. Because communication goes both ways. If I tell you that, okay, this is what you did wrong to annoy me, you should be able to tell me that, okay, I'm very sorry, this was what happened. Then the issue is solved like that. But people that have childhood trauma, they find it difficult to communicate the right way. Even if they want to communicate, they'll just scatter everything together. Say, the person that they're even talking to will not even understand. Because communication is understanding. If somebody does not understand, if the person you are talking to does not understand what you are saying, then it's not really communication. Then another thing is that this kind of people, they have anxiety and depression. I mean, there are a lot of people that have been victims of rapes, verbal abuse, physical abuse. They've seen their mom beat their dads have beaten them, those kind of things. A childhood that has been full of chaos. Those kind of people, they go through anxiety and depression. They don't even know how to function in the society well. They just try to conform, but you know, there's always this part of them that they will just sit down one day and start taking suicidal thoughts and all these things. It's a result of all these repressed memories, things that have happened growing up that has affected them in their adulthood, and they've not really overcome every single one of them. Then another thing is that those kind of people, they have post-traumatic stress, that is PTSD. I'm going to be reading to us what PTSD is. It says that PTSD is a mental disorder that can develop after experiencing a traumatic event. It can come as a result of flashbacks, nightmares, and severe anxiety. Most times, these people, it happens randomly. Probably someone just does something to trigger them. Then those memories that have happened in their past, flashbacks and memory loss and all those things. Those are the impacts that childhood trauma has on our relationships. Now, I want to talk about the solutions to this, because the truth of the matter is that every single one of us, we've all been a victim of childhood trauma, because our parents are not robots, they are humans. And the truth is, we will also become parents one day, and some of us are already parents. So we will surely make mistakes. But I believe that if we can make sure that we protect our children for some things, it will actually affect the way they interact with others in the future. That is why you must not let your children go through what you went through. Even if you are having a misunderstanding with your wife, with your husband, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, it doesn't mean that you should shout. It doesn't mean that you should resort to violence. There are other ways to resolve conflict than you slapping the other person, or you speaking languages like you are a fool, you are this, you are that. Those languages, they when children, even if you are not saying it to the children, for the fact that they are hearing those things, is actually instilling some kind of memory in this, how a man is supposed to treat a woman. This is how a woman is supposed to be in the home, and then it will not affect them growing up. So I want to give us the solutions to childhood trauma that affects our relationship, how we can overcome this childhood trauma so that it will not affect our relationship with others. Number one, acknowledgement and awareness. The first thing they used to say is that if you want to find a solution to your problem, you must first admit that you have a problem. You must be aware that you've been a victim of childhood trauma. Don't try to deny it and say, no, I'm a strong person. Nothing that happened in my childhood. My mom and my dad, they were loving, they were this, they were that. You get what I'm trying to say? You have to admit that, yes, I've been a victim of childhood trauma. Now, how can I move forward? Then the second point is that you must have or develop healthy coping mechanisms. What I mean is that develop your own way of coping with the trauma. Yes, I know it is a good idea for you to have counselors that you can talk to, people that you can open up to, that can actually help you. In case you want to get across to me too, I'm available. But one thing I realize is that as much as other people will give you advice, they will tell you what to do, it takes you to still stand up and say you want to work on those things. Because if those people give you those advice and you write it down, you are still the one that will perform the action. You understand me? So you having healthy coping mechanisms is not the one that you now start having unhealthy ones like drinking, like smoking, because some people do that to suppress their trauma and probably forget the memories and the pains. That one is not advisable. I will tell you that coping mechanisms that you can actually imbibe, you can start journaling. Write those experiences down, how they made you feel. How can you work towards becoming a better person? Journal your thoughts. The moment you see that you're already having unhealthy thoughts or you're already having self-doubt and criticism, write everything down. Express the way you feel. Express it in a journal. It also helps. Another thing is that try to set appropriate boundaries. Have boundaries with people. The truth is, if you ask me for something and it's not within my capability to do it for you, I will tell you, no, I'm sorry, I cannot. It doesn't mean I hate you. It doesn't mean I don't see you as a special person to me. But it's just that I don't have the ability to do that thing at that particular time. But for me to now say yes because I feel like you might get angry, or you might not talk to me again, or you might abandon me, it's not supposed to be like that. You need to overcome that fear of abandonment that you have. The fact that you tell someone no, if that person is really meant to be in your life, that person really values your opinion, the person will accept you saying no and will understand. You get what I'm trying to say? Another thing is that practice self-compassion. Be compassionate on yourself. We all make mistakes. The fact that something happened to you in your childhood, you couldn't have done anything. You are all but a child. And even if that trauma even happened when you were actually an adult, the truth is the situation couldn't have turned out in another way. It has happened, it has happened. You need to be compassionate about yourself. I mean, you're not a robot. We all make mistakes. Please forgive yourself for what happened and stop blaming yourself. You're not responsible for other people's actions, but you are responsible for the way you react, for the way you interpret the things that happen in your life. Then another thing is that identify negative beliefs. There are plenty of us that the words of our parents are still ringing in our ears. You don't know what to do. You don't this thing. Your brain is dull. You are a dullard. Your brother is better than you. He's more focused than you. Those words, identify them and restructure your brain. I am a success. I am a champion. Nations are waiting for me to manifest. I am intelligent. I am a genius. My IQ cannot be measured. When you say those positive words to yourself, you are restructuring your brain to overcome that trauma. So you have to be intentional about the words you say to yourself. You have to be intentional about your thoughts. You have to be intentional about the way you also speak to people. Because I believe the way you speak to people reflects a lot on how you see yourself and the way you see and the way you speak to yourself. The thing is that work with a therapist. I talked about it the other time. If you need somebody to talk to about a trauma that has happened to you, that you could not like trust somebody as at that particular time that it happened, because they might not really believe you. You know, there's some people that they have been victim of rapes and they will tell their parents, they will not really be saying, you are the one that is lying, maybe you are the one that instigated him. So many things have happened in our childhood that we just decided to repress those memories. We don't want to talk about it. But I feel like if you can find someone that you can trust, I would actually recommend a therapist. But if it's not possible, find a friend that you know that their mouth is closed, a friend that is trustworthy, that you can open up. This was what happened to me. Do you know that there is a way, if something is bothering your heart and you open up to someone, there is a way you feel better about it. The person will just say, I'm sorry it happened to you. You will let out those feelings, those emotions at that particular time. Slowly, you are healing. There was a place in the Bible that said, confess your sins to one another. There was a reason why it said that, not even only about sins. There are some things that you go through that you need somebody trustworthy to speak to. But if you've gone through something and you need someone to talk to, please kindly get across to me. Eleanor is here for you. That is what I do. I counsel people. I help you in any way that I can. I listen to you. It's not everybody that talks to me that I give advice, that do this, do that. There are some people that they just need a listening ears. So if you are someone like that you just need someone to listen to, someone to pour your heart to, please don't be afraid to get across to me. Then the last thing that I want to talk about is that the God factor. I would have used it as number one, but I wanted us to really focus on this point. The truth is, no matter how much you go through all this journaling, all these things that I told you to talk about, God is the main healer. Talk to your Father in heaven. Pray to Him. I believe that He will be the one that will heal you of your past. Don't just say, okay, God is not important. What will God do from heaven? By praying about it, you are letting out your emotions to your Father in heaven. That this is what happened to me, but I want to heal. I don't want this childhood trauma to affect my relationship with other people, because it has been affecting the way you interact with people. There's some people that the way you just give them good mornings. What's good about the morning? Why are you greeting me? Why are you smiling? Do you have hidden agenda? All those things as a result of childhood trauma, because you feel like you cannot trust other people. You feel like if they are nice to you, they want something in return, which is not so. There are some people that if you give them gifts and just give them something like this, they're already suspecting you. This girl wants something in return. This guy wants something in return. But over time, I realized that not everybody is like that. There are some people that they are natural givers. There are some people that they just want to be good to you, not because of anything, but because they are destiny helpers. So now, I hope with all these points that I've mentioned, we will actually work on it. Because whether we like it or not, childhood trauma is still affecting the way we interact with others, even I myself. But we are on a journey of healing. That is why we need to be intentional about it. If you know that your childhood trauma has been affecting the way you interact with others, then try to work on it. Try to journal your thoughts. All these points that I've mentioned, work on them step by step, and I believe you can overcome it. But please don't forget, the God factor is very important, because God knows us better than we know ourselves. So don't leave that prayer aspect of it. Pray about it. Tell God your feelings. This is what I'm going through. This is what happened, Heavenly Father. Please heal me of this trauma. Let me overcome it. Then you now work on the strategic steps, because the Bible says that prayer without work is dead. So when you finish praying, you work on all these points that I've said. So thank you everyone for watching today's episode of Connect with Eno. I hope you were able to learn. I hope you were able to be informed. And I know that this journey of healing is not something that is easy. But I know that by God's grace, every single one of us will eventually heal from our trauma. I love you guys. See you guys next week. Bye.